Right then, shoulders to start. You need your broom handle or whatever you got. It can be a wooden spoon as long as it's big enough. It doesn't really matter. Pick on your tight side so that your tightest hand is trying to undo your bra strap. Reach over with your good one, and then you're going to use your top hand to pull up to give you a passive stretch for your tight hand. So while you're doing that, it's just worth remembering that we don't want your ribs poking out, right? We want your jeans on, we want your corset on, so you've got some core work as you do that. And as you're drawing up with this hand, as we're drawing up, we're going to roll the shoulder back on the tight side so we get that extra little bit of stretch. All right, so let it go, pull it up, roll the shoulder, get the stretch, and release it. We're aiming for about 10. Should be fairly gentle, shouldn't feel too bad. And then it'll look the same, but the focus is going to be different. So this time you've got a good grip. We're already far enough up so that you've got a gentle stretch. And then this hand now is passive. Your bottom hand, the tight one, is doing the driving up. So we're trying to push the pole up. And again, try not to drop forwards or arch back. We want to be really tall so that when we're using this bottom hand to push the pole up, we're hitting the right muscles. We're not overcompensating with something. You can do your little stretch here as well, so we come up and drop it down. And remember, you've got one arm that was kind of coming in a little bit, so we're using the other one to help find your stretch and then push it away so we get the extra stretch. But essentially you want to be able to come all the way back as far as you can. If you're really feeling flash, at some point I'd like you to be able to get to the point where you can bring the pole all the way around and all the way back. But we've been doing that without compensating by jutting the head forward and rolling. All right, we're going to be working as far as possible through the shoulder joint. All right, and that's, I know that feels like we're focusing on your shoulder joint, but if these muscles and these muscles are tight from being a little bit like this, you know, while you sat on TV, you're a little bit tense, a little bit worked up. If these are tight, they're not going to allow that full range of movement. All right, so even though it feels like we're focusing on your shoulder and your shoulder's not the issue, it's your neck muscles are a big influencer over how far we can get. And if we're going all the way around, full range of movement, and you're nice and tall, these neck muscles are getting a stretch in a passive way anyway. So get yourself a broom handle and then you can throw it away. If you want to work with a ball, then you can. Let me just grab one. So you're down on your back and we're going to do your little hip tilts. Remember, you can do them without the ball if you want to. We're pulling the pubic bone towards you and sending it away. And remember how small a movement that was. If you're struggling to find that, get your ball, whack it underneath your pelvis. If you want to use it for a little stretch to start with, just to open your lower back, you can. You can have a little roll round on it and then plant. And we use that so that you can just find a little bit extra movement, because you can use it as a pivot point. Right, so we're just rocking backwards and forwards, really working these low belly muscles to pull the pelvis towards you. And then you can start hitting all of the points on your clock face. So we push away to 6, pull it back in. Push to number 5, pull it back in. And you can work a couple of times all the way around your clock face. And then if you want to, you can just have a little bit of a roll round and reverse. And then once you've done those, again, just hug it in and let your lower back open. And then when you're done, again, throw your ball away. And you're going to go for your new best mate. So remember, you want to use a decent amount of tension. Don't go for the lightest band, because you're just doing yourself a disservice then. You know, if you're gonna put the time aside to work on something, make it worth the time. All right, and it wants to be above your knee joint. So we're going to start off, you'll be down in your bridge position, and we're going to do an even push out. Now you can do these while you're seated as well, because it will work the muscles slightly differently. So you can sit yourself on a dining chair and do exactly the same movements, all right? So you can work it here. You're going to do 10 of these. Remember, you're coming in for a count of 3, right? So we push out, max it out, and whether you're lying down with a nice neutral pelvis or seated, we make sure the pelvis doesn't move. We get a little hold, we bring it in for 3, 2, 1. Keep the tension straight into your next one. All right, so you've got 10 of those. So if you want to pause the video now and go for it, you can. And then when you've done 10 bilateral pushes, you're going to anchor with one side and you're going to push out. And again, you make sure the pelvis doesn't move. We don't twist the waist. Have a good hold. And we bring it in slowly again, and we aim for 10 of them. All right. So again, if you want to pause the video and go for that, you can. So 10 each side. We're making sure the pelvis doesn't twist. If you're lying down, we're making sure we're not anchoring it back into the mat. That pelvis just stays where you dump it, right? It stays in neutral. When you're coming to do your bridges, we want to be hip distance apart, so you've already got a nice bit of tension on your band, because we want to feel that these outer glutes are working. So that as you start to come up into your bridge, we can really then focus on making sure these bigger muscles at the back are firing up. Remember, we want to be, if you need to fire them up and get talking to you first, then by all means roll yourself onto your front, find your bum muscles to hug your hip bones into the mat first, and then when you come into your bridge, it might be easier for you to find the right muscles to work for you. But remember, we're keeping the same distance between the knees, so we keep the tension on the band, and we're squeezing your bottom through your hip joints like toothpaste out of a tube. We want to get to the point where there's nothing left here. Remember, your hamstrings will join the party, but they should only be a guest, they're not the host. We bring him down. When you're coming back down out of your bridge, can you keep your bottom working? You know, does it completely switch off and you just drop it down? It should still be fired up. So we should get to about number 5 and you start to get a good burn. Right, we're aiming for 10 of these. Give it a real good squeeze. Slowly down. And then when you're done, you take your band off. You can have your little hug in. And then maybe get yourself into cat-cow, so we're either here or down here. If you clench your hands together, you can rest your head down on them. And then remember, we're hugging the pubic bone right in. So to exaggerate it, we'd have that going on. But we don't need to exaggerate it. So you're just going to hug the front of the pelvis towards you and then allow the tailbone to swing away. Again, we hug it in. Swing it away, and if you want to, you draw some little circles. So this is, you know, your most undignified bit. Reverse your circles. And then when you've done a few of those and you come up to your downward dog position, don't rush to come out of it, all right? Because this is a hamstring stretch, but it'll also stretch your glutes. So take your time there. Remember, no ballistic stretching, no bouncing into it. You're going to keep your legs as straight as everything will let you as you walk your hands in towards your feet. And again, while we're here, this is a glute stretch for everything that you've just worked. It's not just a hamstring stretch. And if your back's a little tender, you make sure you support yourself on your hands. And then you can, if you need to, you can walk yourself up your legs, all right? But engage your belly to help you pull back up. Throw your hands in the air like you just don't care. And you're good to go. So don't do it so much that you're annoying the muscles that are just starting to get talking to you. Every other day will do, if you get time. And obviously continue with your other neck and shoulder exercises, and I'll see you on Monday.